we did one other show.
Okay. In São Paulo, maybe.
Yeah, no, it was like a beach town. Where was that? Yeah, I don't remember.
But in the state of Rio.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's Búzios, something like that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
Rio das
exactly.
Ostras, because there's some festivals there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, man.
And,
Yeah.
and you, now you are on your house,
Yeah.
because I want to first ask you about uh, in that pandemic now, where which plans do you have? What are you doing when the thing started? Because for me, it's like postpone a lot of concerts and projects and everything canceled. And here in Brazil, as I said to you, we have a
Oh,
bad
I know.
president.
I know about your president, man. He's buddies with Trump, right? Those
Yeah,
clowns,
like
man.
a
Oh, dude.
puppet from Trump. He's an
Yeah,
asshole.
I mean, and that's the thing, man. Your president, he got it,
Got it.
and it's still like
Still don't use the mask and
I
everything.
know,
So
man. No, these dudes. So where I'm at, so I'm in Massachusetts, and luckily, like there's been some articles lately talking about how well Massachusetts has handled
oh,
this.
great,
Oh yeah,
great.
we're doing great here, man. I mean, we right from the beginning, obviously everything, they shut everything down and this and that. But everybody, like, you go out.
Respecting, you're using the mask
Oh,
and
oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. I mean, that's just normal life here. And it's crazy to, now you turn on the news or whatever and you watch, what else is going on around the country.
mhm.
It's like
Yeah.
I literally don't understand the level of stupidity
Oh yeah,
and selfishness. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, man, it's like it's just it's unbelievable. And the problem is like every day if you watch the news or you read something, and to me it's like it's just another day that no progress, real
At
progress,
all.
has been made, which is just gonna lengthen this whole thing in this country, and we're in for a long haul, man. it's
Uh,
this is so
People
it's a
doesn't respect each other because the
the
president is
pro-
an
exactly,
idiot.
man.
I was
Yeah, man.
laughing at your post in Instagram that you let the Trump sink because you don't have to answer like this guy. You have to go and do your things in your life because it's only bad vibes, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So with that said, I've been my recording studio. I haven't had any bands coming into the recording studio, obviously, because and honestly, a lot of bands, the majority of bands who come to record with me in our studio, they're not in Massachusetts. They come from,
Oh,
really all over the country and
dangerous
different parts of the
states
world.
too.
Oh yeah. So exactly. So that slowed down. Obviously, like all of our shows have been postponed and until right now, next year, for
No, yeah,
sure.
all over
So
the world, isn't it?
yeah, man. Yep. So it's just, I'm staying really busy
Okay.
writing and recording and obviously doing a lot of stuff with my label. But
Oh,
it's just, just taking it day by day. You know what else, it's
yeah,
like,
and it's like home studio recording at home and without anyone, or you
but
invite some people
well,
to work together.
I've been very so my studio is like a 20-minute drive from my home.
Ah,
So
okay.
so I go up there when I really need to, you know, like, so, if I really need to dial in a mix or record something, but in terms of other people coming in, it's been very limited. Only people I really know
Yeah.
very
Friends.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And even at that, that's been, very, very limited, you know, and just
Yeah,
cause,
you have to.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like the recording studio is one of those places you're inside for
Yeah, with the
extended
air
periods of time.
conditioning and everything.
Exactly, man. Yeah, and you're playing music. You know, you're working. You know, you're working that
Yeah.
respiratory system. So it's you know, it's not the it's not the best place to be. You know,
Yeah, I have
but
a
you,
studio too, and avoid to go there because here is in the south of the state of Rio and Copacabana, very crowded, and the people are selfish too. Go to the beach without a
mm,
mask, so you can bring the virus to your home too.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's very dangerous. And
Yeah.
and there you have and the other problem that was the George Floyd issue and the
Yeah,
man,
man.
it was trouble because the people have to go to the streets and
Oh yeah.
protest.
Mhm. Yep.
But
Yep.
I've seen here in Brazil people there without masks and it's dangerous. But
Yeah, it really is, man. And that's the thing. Now we're a few weeks past that, and again, you're seeing the numbers go up. You know, probably because a lot of people like were out in
yeah,
the streets, and you know, what I mean, it's like I'm glad people were out in the streets, but there was obviously going to be some consequences from that. You know, what I mean, so it's like it's tough, man. It's tough, you know. And again, going back to our president, you know what I mean, it's like if he would have addressed that situation, you know, I mean, people, and the thing is, people are still protesting. You don't
yeah,
see it as
because the
much.
problem still continues.
Exactly, but if he would have, you know, if people would have stepped up and really be leaders during after George Floyd and try to like calm things down, you
Yeah,
probably wouldn't have had
yeah,
multiple weeks of people protesting, which is going to help fuel the pandemic,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So it's
Of
like,
course.
I mean, that dude has failed on so many levels. It's mind-boggling, you know?
Yeah,
But he's a sociopath. He doesn't care. He does
yeah.
not care
Doesn't
about.
care. He put the fire on the oil to
Yeah,
burn the thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's a terrible situation. But asking about this kind of a racial issue, I was uh, I have seen on your post about your uh, relation with your father and the musicianship that brings to you. And I remember my father too, because my family has music too at home, like uh, aunts and cousins and grandmother cooking and everybody's playing. And I want you to talk about that kind of heritage.
man, well, so that's the thing, like, you know, growing up in our household, music was playing all of the time. You know what I mean? The music was on all the time. It was such a part of our daily existence that I didn't realize that wasn't normal. You know what I mean? A lot of people like I grew up with, they didn't have that, you know. So um I'm really glad for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I mean, and the thing is like we got um, hip to such incredible music early on. You know, like I have, I know people who have kids. I'm sure you do as well. Like they play like kids music and all this kind of stuff. You know, which is fine. I got
Yeah,
no problem with that. You know, but man, like you think about it, like when you're like 1 years old, 2 years old, and you're listening to like, you know, Cannonball Adderley and like Oscar Peterson,
yeah.
and you're
It's
just
like
hearing that, it's gonna do something to
can
you.
yeah change
Yeah,
your
you
mind.
know what I
Yeah,
mean? You know, and so that's the thing. I often tell people, it's like, you know, even children at a very young age, they're capable of
Yeah, of
maybe not
course.
totally understanding it, but it's good to start them listening to that kind of stuff early on. It's like
Yeah.
it's so
Education
anyway.
for ear training too.
Exactly. Well, so speaking of ear training, so this is the thing. So when we were younger, my father would like sit. He had a room where the stereo was set up and all the records and things like that. And in order, there was a room that had the television in. So we want to go watch cartoons or whatever,
Yeah.
but we had to go through that room where
Ah,
my father would
okay.
listen to music to go. So what would happen, he would
On
stop us.
purpose, he puts
Yeah,
that.
probably. So he would stop us. He'd say, hey, come over here. And he'd sit us down, you know, and he's well, who's playing tenor saxophone? Who's playing piano? Who's playing drums? Who's playing bass? You know what I mean? And I'm
Great.
talking, man, we were we were little kids. And obviously, like, it took us a while to get things right,
Okay.
obviously. But the beautiful thing was it was an amazing ear training development. You know what I'm saying? Like,
For
and
the
the
whole life.
exactly. And what it really did is not only did we learn the individual musicians, their tone, their phrasing, their like their personalities, but it also, he always would point out how they work together. So
Oh, as a
exactly,
group.
as a group, exactly, man. You know what I mean? And then like
Yeah, great.
and that was just so it's amazing when you think back on those lessons. And I don't think he was doing it intentionally. I think a lot of it was just he loved the music so much and he loved the musicians, and that was one of his
His
ways of sharing.
values for that.
Yeah, exactly. But it really made me who I am as a musician, as an artist, as a songwriter, as a producer. You know what I mean? Like that's how I think that's the kind of music that I gravitate towards.
Great.
It's like, cool, man. And you know the deal, man. You go to some gig or you hear someone playing, and oh man, you could tell that they've shed like 8 hours before they got on the
Yeah,
stage, but they're there all by themselves. They're just playing. Like, it's like, okay, great. It's amazing technically, but there's other people on stage with you, and you're not working together.
yeah.
I don't. It doesn't
Don't you
do anything.
think it's like a egoic thing, like
Yeah,
ego?
exactly.
Yeah,
And to me, it's like there's so much more to music than just that. You know what I mean? Of course you
yeah,
want to
of course.
practice and be as skilled as you possibly can, just so you're ready for when inspiration hits and you know what to do in that moment, with ease, hopefully.
Yeah,
But man, so those times hanging out with my father when he'd have us doing that was just incredible. You know what I mean?
but
And
your
it's just
father is a musician too, or not?
well, he wasn't a professional musician, but
Oh,
he
okay,
played drums.
same as my
And
father.
yeah, man, but the thing is, he he could play. I mean, like he could have easily been a professional musician.
Oh, okay, he can play everything, drums and guitar and everything.
Yeah, man, his feel on the drums was just so incredible. So
Great.
another thing, so I didn't really and really I just kind of copied what I saw him do. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
so I remember when I was very young, he had another stereo system down in the basement where the drums were that were just connected to headphones. And he
Oh,
would put headphones on and put records on and play to them. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. So I started doing that, and again, it's just a really cool way of feeling like you're in the music. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Rather than sitting there and practicing, I don't know, it's just
yeah,
like, so again, that kind of goes back to how I love making music is with people. You know what I'm saying? Like really,
yeah.
that's the
Great.
thing. So what he would do though, I didn't really have a proper drum instructor. Uh,
But you started
really.
to play very early, like
Oh yeah, I was
three
like
years old, 4,
9 months old.
9
Yeah,
months.
yeah, yeah,
Yes,
man.
it
Yeah,
feels like natural.
yeah, man. Oh yeah, exactly, man. I mean,
When I
it's
see you play, it feels like natural. Natural.
yeah, man. I mean, to be honest, man, I a lot of times I tell people it's easier for me to play music than it is for me to speak. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Because I was
same as,
really playing before I was speaking. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That is my first language. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
for me too.
Um, so what the interesting thing, what my father would do as I got older, I was probably maybe 7, 8 years old, something like that. I'd be downstairs playing on the drum set, and he'd come down and just kind of hang out and just watching me, you know. And I was just
Okay.
kind of playing like, all right. And then he would come behind me, and he would hold my arms like this, you know what I mean, like each hand,
Mm.
and he would play, you know, like holding my arms like drumsticks,
Okay,
and so I could get the
like
feel.
a puppet.
Exactly, kind of like and I always say it's kind of like teaching a child how to ride a bicycle.
Yeah,
You hold on, and
swimming
then
too.
yes, exactly, and then he would let go,
Yeah.
and then I would like, and I'd try to remember, you know, like that muscle memory thing, and then I would kind of like fall off the beat or whatever, and he'd grab my arms and
Uh,
kind of, and that's,
Here.
and yeah, man,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And it was just an amazing way to learn, and that's why I always say, man, so much of my playing, either you know drums or guitar or bass, whatever it is, it's all feel. You know what I'm saying? If it has, and that's one thing that he would always say to me. He's like, he would say, do you feel that? I would, you know, I'd kind of let go and I'd feel the way he was feeling the rhythm, you know?
Yeah,
And I was like, oh
I
yeah.
see.
And that's, you know what I mean? That's how I approach music. It's all feel. Literally music affects me, my body, you know, like my core,
Yeah.
you know, and so I guess that just explains a lot of why I play the way I do, the kind of music I like, you know, and the kind of music I write, things like that,
Yeah.
man. It's really amazing to think of. And again, I don't know if he like thought that out. It may have just
Natural.
made
It
sense.
feels like natural.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I think feel is difficult. Techniques you can get, but the feel, man.
yep,
So
exactly.
speaking about that, I think uh, I don't know if you think that's true, but this kind of approach affects the drummers now. Like without a feel and a lot of techniques, without some passion of music, and for me, feel like a robots. Here in Brazil, we have to like the gospel shops and
I
everything.
know,
It
man.
feels like circus for me, without a
I
feeling at all.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, so this is exactly, man. And going back to my father, like having us guess who different players were and things like that. Later on, I it became a goal of mine to become a player that when you drop the needle, you know, or you hit play on a tape or whatever, you know exactly who that is. You know what I'm saying?
Identity.
Exactly, man, exactly. And that's been like, and I feel like I've, you know, I'm, I feel like I've achieved that. I mean, I'm there's
Yeah.
not saying that I'm there, you know, but that's,
When you listen,
so
is
that's
Alan playing. Yeah, this
exactly,
this
exactly.
is the
And that,
most important thing, I think.
exactly. And so that's the thing, man, like when you talk about a lot of these drummers who have all like this, you know, and it's not just drummers, but you know, but I, speaking of drummers,
Yeah.
you can do all this stuff, the kung fu drumming, you know, like
Yeah.
or whatever, you know, but but I can't pick. I don't
One
know
of
who.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know who Bernard Purdy is? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
He is a friend of mine, Bernard.
Yeah, man, me too, man. I'm telling you, man, you always know. And
Yeah.
and how many notes does Bernard have to play? 2 or
A
3?
few.
A few. And I mean, that's just amazing. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
Bernie, speaking about Bernie, he's a very good friend of mine, and he saw me at the festival in Búzios too. Baby Soul, I
yeah,
played that. And he was playing with the Master of Groove, Grant
yeah,
Green,
yep,
man.
yeah, yep,
And he speak to me to play, but has some kind of problem with the production. When I start the stage, he come to me and speak to me. I like your play. I didn't understand so much you can do because I've played maracatus and samba, some Brazilian stuff. But
yeah.
he take a picture with me and put him in his website, man. I
Oh
was
man,
thrilled,
yeah.
man, because this guy is a
He's a legend.
master,
Come on,
a
man.
legend.
Yeah, yeah,
He's a
man.
legend, man. And
Yeah.
what about your formal studio? You have some formal studio, like a teacher and playing techniques,
No,
this kind of
I,
stuff?
no. When I was about 15 years old, I went to a teacher. I had a teacher for a little while who was kind of like he was a very well he lived. I grew up in Buffalo, New York, but
Oh, okay.
he lived in between Buffalo and L.A. because he was a really well known kind of studio L.A. He did like
Player,
all the
session
movies.
player.
Exactly, exactly. So I started going to him, and I was getting my reading together and my practicing like the rudiments and all this kind of stuff.
Your dad
And
can read too, like drummer sheets and everything? No.
yeah, well, no, not now, but so at the time I could, you know what I
No,
mean?
no, your dad's.
No, 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 no. I mean, I would say on a basic level, you know
Oh,
what I
okay.
mean? Yeah, yeah. But so when I was going to this cat, my reading was getting together and my technique was. But I remember I was playing a gig one night, and my parents were at the gig. I remember the next day he was like, yeah, your feel is your feel is changing. It's not the same. And I was like, that's all I needed to hear. That was the last. I never went back to a lesson.
Yeah, because you lost the most important thing.
Yeah, I mean, and that I mean, like, did I really want to like end up in LA and be able to read like do what I mean that's just
It's
not
not your
uh,
way to do it, not a session player in New York.
yeah,
There's a lot.
exactly. Yeah, and I have friends who do that. I'm
Yeah,
saying I have a lot of respect for that, but man, that just wasn't my path, and I didn't want to. That's just not what I wanted to do.
yeah.
So since then, like 16 years old, I think that was around then I'd stopped lessons, and that was the last lesson I ever took, man. I mean, to be brutally honest with you, man, I don't practice at all. I mean, it's kind of fun. I mean, I really, I always say I should, but a lot of my practicing goes on in my head,
Oh,
honestly.
yeah. And
Like,
listening, everything.
yeah, man, yeah, because I feel like there's some things that like I definitely are a little bit more challenging for me, especially if it's just like a gig where it's like, uh, I have to learn like some crazy some Frank Zappa tunes that I
Yeah,
hadn't
yeah.
played before. You know what I mean? But the thing
But
is,
it
I
didn't
know.
happen usually, that kind
Yeah,
of, yeah.
exactly. And kind of going back to the whole thing is like I the majority of music that I play is my own.
Of
You know
course,
what I
yes.
mean? So as long as I feel like as long as I'm prepared enough to play my own music,
Yeah.
I mean, like
It will be
that's
great.
yeah, that's I'm doing all right. And in a lot of the music, obviously like Soul Live when we do like Bowl Live and things like we play a lot of other people's music, obviously,
Yeah.
but it's all music we know very well, or we're
And
get
it's
into it.
yours
Yeah,
music.
yeah, exactly. You know, so
Yeah,
um,
the vibe is great. And talk about that. How does it start, the Soul Life project? Because you have the whole life playing with your brother, or not?
yeah, well, I mean, obviously Neil and I have been playing music together our entire lives, you know, and we've been in multiple bands, you know, like, I mean, for a while, Neil and I had a band where Neil was playing drums, I was playing guitar, and we had a bass player, you know what I mean, like a couple
Great.
bass, you know, so, and Neil's a really great drummer himself, man.
Yeah, his rhythm is like a solid, strong one. I was impressed, man.
Yeah, man. So, but then with Soul Live, man, I was actually playing right before Soul Live. I was playing with the Gray Boy All Stars
Oh,
with
great.
Carl, and you know Chris and all them cats, Mike, and uh, and that was the first time I had been hired as a drummer for somebody else.
Like
Everything
a
I'd ever,
sideman.
yeah, exactly,
Okay.
and it was cool for a little bit, you know, and then something hit me, man. I was just like, this isn't for me, man, you know, like just playing other people's music and like being just, I'm natural, I just can't work for other people, you know,
Yeah.
it's not my thing, you know. So I called Neil up and I was like, hey man, you know, I got an idea for a band. I had already written a couple of songs. I wrote Uncle Junior and Steppin', just
Yeah, I
while,
want to know about this song, man. We are here in Brazil. We covered that. I sent to Neil, and I have sent
yeah,
to you because
yeah.
you that disc we heard a lot here in Brazil. It's,
Yeah,
I think it was 2000, isn't it? Or 99.
and 99, 2000. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've listened a lot. And how come the stepping, the born of stepping?
Man, honestly, it's just kind of like a lot of music that I write. You know, I just picked up the guitar and usually I know when a good tune is coming when it falls out of my fingers. It's just the
Happens.
literally it just happens. The first thing I remember I played um what did I play? The melody. You know, I just like
Uh-huh.
started playing that. And I was just like, ooh, that's kind of cool. And I just like went with it. And you know, it was again, so Uncle Junior and Steppen were written right around the same time in 1997 or 98 when I was I was living in San Diego. My wife and I were out in San Diego playing with Carl and those cats. And like I said, man, I felt like that my time was up with the All Stars and Carl's band, the Tiny Universe,
Yeah,
and I
you
was,
can be you, isn't
yeah,
it?
man, yeah. So
You're
I
playing your stuff, your personality.
exactly. So I was like, hey Neil, I got a couple of songs to start a band. So you know, it's kind of crazy. Like I got two songs to start a band. You know?
Yeah.
But you know, so at the time, Neil was going to the Manhattan School of Music. And
Oh,
so he was playing a lot of jazz. He was shedding, man. Yeah, I mean that cat at that time, he was
he
studying
going
with that.
deep in that
Oh
guy.
man, yeah, exactly. So I come with like Uncle Junior and Steppen, right? And then Neil comes with like tunes like Rudy's Way and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, yo, dude, like I'm like, I sent him the tunes and he's probably like, oh yeah, that's cool. But check out what I got. You know, so he's sitting there. Oh, I remember we were hanging out. He's like, oh yeah, I got a tune. Check this out. I'm like, dude, I don't even know what you're doing, man.
Didn't understand everything.
Oh man, yeah. But Neil and I, we have like a friendly like competition, you know,
Oh yeah,
competitive kind
and
of thing.
the
You know?
level going higher and
Yeah,
higher.
yeah, man. It's fun. It's fun. You know, it's all love. You know, like I'll play him something, and he's always super supportive. He's like, damn, that's crazy. That's great. Then he'll play me something. I'm like, play me something. I'm like, what? You were like complimenting my tune. What are you talking about, man? This thing is incredible. You know, like. So yeah, so from there we just kind of built it up. The funny thing is the original lineup of Soul Live was Neil, myself, and Neil's friend Nick Mancini, who was he played vibraphone. So originally, man, it was vibraphone, organ, and drums, which was crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah, man. And
Great
so
some sounds to do
yeah,
it too.
yeah, it was interesting. But so the funny thing is, so Kraz ended up coming to our first show. We were playing a show in
With this
Boston.
formation.
Yeah, with that formation, Kraz just happened to like come by just because he wanted to say what's up. Because we've known Kraz before, way before Soul Live.
Mm.
So he heard that we had a new band, and he just was kind of curious. So he came over and he actually sat in, like on a couple
Yeah,
of tunes.
he's a great guitar player.
Oh yeah, man. So what he didn't know though was on our way, we were driving to the first show in Boston with Nick, and Nick tells us, he's like, man, so I got a gig. I'm taking a gig in a Broadway,
Show.
musical, like
Yeah.
show. So I can't, I can't be in the band. And the funny thing is, like Kim, my wife, we'd already had like a bunch of shows booked.
Oh,
So we played
yeah.
one show and we're driving, and he tells us, we're like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So Kraz comes and sits in, right? And
Great.
at that point, I guess at that point, I already realized that we should have a guitar player, because I remember how hard it was to mic up and hear the vibraphone,
With
so
you both.
yeah, exactly. I said, man, we need a guitar player, man, someone could turn up. So after the show, Kraz was like, oh man, you guys sounded great, what's going on? I said, well, it's funny that you ask. I said, hey man, would you mind filling in on a few of these shows that we have while we find a guitar
He had
player?
already played with you or not?
No. He just sat in with us like on a song. And then after the show, I was like, hey man, would you come down, learn some of our songs, and play a few shows with us while we find a guitar player? And he was like, all right, cool. Cause he was like in school, he was busy, So Kraz ended up coming out to our place where I had the studio set up. And we started, learning, showing him the songs that we had, like all the early stuff, Soul Live, Uncle Junior, all that stuff off the original recordings, and and me being the constant engineer, I just recorded everything because it was just there. We were all mic'd up. I said, well, I just
and you have already the equipment ready to go, and you record everything.
Exactly. So we showed them the tunes, we recorded them, and that night, I remember we were listening. We did it in 2 days, actually, 2 days. So the second night, we were listening back to this stuff, and it was just like, wow, I guess it just sounds like a band. And that was Get Down.
Get Down.
Oh. Yeah, that was it, man. That was, what I mean? Like that was before we recorded those tunes, I was just recording them just to make, just for fun, just to get, just, oh cool, Kraz is playing on it, and just have it for posterity or whatever. And that ended up being our first record.
Great sound, that record.
Yeah, man, and we've been together ever since.
Yeah, it's like 20 years or
over. Yeah.
Over.
Yeah.
20 something.
21 years. Yeah, 21 years.
21 years, yes.
Yeah.
It's like the same age of Jazz Afinado, my band that play stepping. 20.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Nice, man. All right.
We started a band in the school. And what about the project, the Bow Live in Brooklyn? How does it start? Because this kind of environment is very nice. And the movies that you make, it's great.
Yeah, man.
Sound, because you bring there like a mobile recording stuff, because the sound is very good.
Yeah, exactly. that originally started because the owner of the Brooklyn Bowl, our friend Pete Shapiro, that when he was opening up the bowl that first year, he wanted to do something just big for the opening. So he said, hey, I want you guys to play 10 nights at Brooklyn Bowl. Now, mind you, at the time, at that year, the most nights that we would probably play in New York City, maybe 3 nights at a smaller venue. You know what I'm saying? Like 10 nights, we literally thought he was crazy. Like how
How
are we
can people go?
yeah, and
It's
and
like 10 nights on the Holy Week, like
yeah,
Monday, Tuesday.
it was 5 nights, and then we take 2 nights off, and then another 5 nights. So, I
Wow.
mean, that was a lot. I mean, man, that was a lot. That was a lot. And then it was like, obviously, we had all the guests come in and things like that. So the very first year of Bowl Live, it was interesting, man. Like the first couple of nights, there was a good crowd. You know, it wasn't sold out by any. It wasn't packed, you know, but it was decent. It was cool. But something happened, and it just picked up momentum, and soon after that, man, that
And
place,
people start to spread in the news.
yeah, man, and it was incredible. Now the problem for us is like the first year, it was such a new thing for us. So like every night we'd have a different guest, and we were learning all these songs, and we wanted everything to be so perfect, and you know, we put so much thought and energy into it, overthinking it, I guess, you know what I mean? So like we were exhausted, man. We were so, I mean, I
When
can't even,
you're gonna play, you are like tired of everything. You want to
it's
start
just so
finish.
your head, yeah, your head is full of music. I mean, it got to a point where I wasn't really even sleeping, because you know, I mean, so this is the deal with Bowl Live. We get to the, say, the first day. We show up, and you know, the crew is setting up all the equipment and everything, and we start rehearsing maybe around 1, or you know, shortly after noon, you know, 2 p.m., you know, whatever.
Okay.
And
Until the night.
until and then we stop, then we go eat food, then we come back, and then we play the whole show.
Wow.
Then of course it's the first year of Bowl Live, so everyone wants to party, everyone's hanging out, you know, you're having drinks and all this kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And then next thing you know, it's like 4 in the morning, 3, 4 in the morning. It's like, man, I gotta go to the hotel, I gotta get some sleep.
Yeah.
So then I'd sleep for like a few hours, then wake up, and and then start learning all the songs for
And go to
for
the
that
stage.
night, and
Yeah.
then go, man,
And
10
like a
nights of that.
cycle of tiredness.
Yeah, man. So the good thing is, like, after that first year, you know, then we started to get smarter about, like, you know, like taking care of our
Health.
body health. Yeah, man. You know, like, so I came up with a nice little trick, you know. So, you know, because people, you know, it's every night at the gig, and you know this, you know, everyone out in the crowd, it's their party, this is their night to party. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know, so they want you to hang out and party, but man, you can't do
But
that 10 nights
tomorrow
in a row.
you have to
Yeah,
work.
exactly. So what I would do, I got myself a little glass, you know, and I'd put like some, you know, sparkling water in it or whatever,
Yeah.
with like some fruit, so it looks like a, you know,
Yeah.
like a vodka
Like
drink
a
or
drink.
whatever. Yeah, so no one would give me drinks, because I'm like, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
cool the whole night. I'm totally sober, you know, you know. So and then
Hanging with the people, but without water.
exactly, man, exactly. Yep. So after the end of the night, I would just have myself a beer or a glass of wine, and then
Yeah.
go get some sleep, you know, get up in the morning and exercise, and then learn
Yeah,
the
of
song.
course.
And that, once I figured that out, it became a little easier, but
Yeah, because
it's
the
still
problem
challenging.
is that you drink every day a lot. If you gonna hang with people, so it's
Yeah, yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And
So
how John Scofield? John Scofield is my cousin.
what?
How? Yeah, because I have a family in the States. My surname is Scofield too,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
and
caught
my
that.
father is João Scofield, John Scofield in Portuguese. I have met John here. He
Yeah.
come to Mistura Fina, place here in the Lagoa, a lakeside
Right.
here in the town, and I think the record that he promoted at the time it was uh, that one, the first one with Adam Deitch playing maybe.
Oh, is that Up All Night
Yeah, I think it's up all night or after,
or the
right after that one.
Bump? Bump.
Bump, bump,
Bump. Yeah, 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 yeah,
bump.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the
Yep, that's
drummer
right.
was Israeli from Israel.
Yeah,
I didn't remember his name, but who recorded that CD was Adam, and I
yeah.
speak to him too. And John come and me and my father go to the airport, went to the airport and talked to him. And, oh my God, man, I have a cousin here in Brazil. He didn't know, and he didn't expect it because my father is John Scofield too. And John Scofield,
That's awesome, man.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was awesome. And how he came? He's a friend of Crash too.
No, man.
Oh,
So check this out. So, I mean, obviously, I know Krez and myself. Um, I mean, I was listening to Scofield albums when I was a teenager. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like I was trying to learn all that stuff on guitar
he's
and
a
couldn't.
legend.
Oh yeah. So a good friend of mine, this drummer, Marlon Browden, he was playing with Scofield. This was 19. This was, I guess it was summer of 2000, I believe, and
Baby.
we were doing a festival in Boston, and I've heard that Marlon was in town. I think he like contacted me or something like that, and he said he was playing with John Scofield. Now this is right after a Go-Go came out. You know what
Ah,
I'm
go go with
saying?
my desk match wood.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, oh man, I would love to meet Schofield. My friend Marlon is playing drums with him. So I said, hey Marlon, man, tell John about us. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and
Yeah.
maybe you'd come by. And I didn't think that that would happen. But anyway, we were on stage playing. And I look over and there's Marlon and John. I'm like, oh,
Oh,
yo. So afterwards, somehow we got we talked to, or Marlon said John really liked the set. We didn't talk to him that night, but somehow soon after that we connected with Schofield, and he dug what we were doing, and next thing you know, man, we asked him to come in the studio and record with us, you know, on the Turn It Out
great.
album. And ever since then, man, like, you know, he's like, I mean, he's just like, he's a great friend, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that was just like the most incredible thing, man. I remember when I was probably 14 or 15, around there, and he has this, what's the name of the album? I think it was Time on My Hands.
Time on my hands.
And it has like Joe
It's like
Lovano.
a fusion one.
Yeah, yeah,
Fusion.
it's one of
Fusion
those. Yeah, yeah,
vibe.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of jazzy fusion, you know, like he had like, you know, and yeah, Joe Lovano, and I can't remember who else was on that record. But man,
Okay.
I listened to that album so much when I was young, and then all of a sudden I'm in the studio with John Scofield. Man, it just
Blew
it
your
made
mind.
blew my mind, man. You know, and then now, like, you know, it's like I said, we've been friends for a long time. You know, like
He's a
he's
great
just
guy. He's a
he
great
is,
guy.
yeah, man, and he, you know, he is one of the most incredible. I mean, he's literally one of the most incredible musicians ever. Not and especially on guitar, but just in general. Like the thing is with Schofield, and you know this, man. Think about his career. You know, like all the people that he's played with, all the music that he's made, and every time I hear him, every time I get to play with him or I hear him, he's better.
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? He's not one of these dudes who like you like. Unfortunately,
Accommodate in the sofa and go to the
yeah, you know,
jazz
look,
mix. He's
yeah,
crafty and
man.
his head is ahead
Yeah,
always.
yeah, man, like you see some cats, like, oh, I'm gonna go check out so and so, and then you go see them and you're like, oh man, they're kind of like over the hill, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
like
of course.
it happens,
It
it happens.
happens, yeah.
But with John, man, every time it's just like, dude, what is going on? Like, so check it, man. Like this one time we were playing the Monterey Jazz Festival, and John was playing with us. He wasn't out. I think that's the only reason why he was out there. I don't think he was playing. He didn't have his own group out there or anything like that. He was just a guest with us. So we're all hanging out, and it's like one of these deals. It's like the jazz festival, the hotel. Every musician is there, like like staying there or whatever.
Okay.
Someone came up. Oh, it was Joe Lovano actually.
Great.
Comes up to Sko and
Alan,
he's like,
just stop a minute only to turn the lights because here is
yeah,
dark. Okay.
yeah.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, nah, that's
Yeah.
cool, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're all hanging out talking. Joe Lovano walks up and John's like, hey man, how's it going? I haven't seen you in a while, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, man, good. I had this set, but and I cannot remember who was playing piano, but it was an old school jazz pianist who was gonna be playing with them. So it was Joe Lovano, John Patitucci, and Brian Blade, right?
Brian's
And then
great.
yeah, dude. And then I can't remember who the pianist was. But anyway, so Joe's like, hey man, would you mind, doing the set with us? Because he had to cancel, this dude had to cancel because of some health reasons. And John's like, yeah, sure. Like, when is it? And it just so happened that their set was right before Soul Live, was playing, on different stages, but
Okay.
he's like, yeah, I can do it. Cool. And he's like, I've never played with Brian Blade, so that would be great, So we're just hanging out talking. It's like, all right, we'll see you later and this and that. So Kraz and I go over to see John play with Lovano and Patitucci and Brian Blade, right? So man, we're walking up there and we're hearing the music. And the music was ridiculous, man. I mean, these dudes were burning. But the thing is, they were playing like these heads. Man, these melodies, man, were like 32 bars long and nothing would repeat. You know what I'm saying? These were like some seriously composed tunes that Joe
Yeah.
had.
And the
Right?
vocabulary didn't stop at all. It's like
No,
70 chorus, 100 chorus.
exactly. So we're hearing the music, right? And we hear Sko, we're like, wow, man, that sounds great. We walk up and then we see them on stage, and there is John, the only person with a music stand and sheet music. And I'm like, wait a minute. This dude doesn't know these songs. He's just reading them. And I'm telling you, man, these songs were crazy. And he's just up there and he's like, and then it's time for him to solo. And he's just
And
like reading through the changes. And I'm just like, and these changes, I mean, this was not blue. These
no,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
These are some
it's like
stuff, man.
Greek.
Oh man, exactly. And I'm just like, so man, so finally Crash on, hey man, we gotta get over to sound check. So we left. We didn't see the end of the set, but we left. So then a little while later, John shows up, for sound check. And I'm just looking at him like, man, I was like, dude, I don't like you, man. I don't like you. Like, dude, what was that? And he was like, John, he's so nice. He's like, oh man, I was struggling up there, but that was fun. I'm like,
He's
struggling.
very humble
No.
guy.
Oh yeah, man. I said, you want to see struggling? You should have invited me up on that stage. You would have seen struggling,
a
But then, oh,
battlefield, man.
oh man. So then Sko plays, and then he's playing the set with us, right? So he
Yeah.
goes from doing his thing, playing like this crazy jazz stuff with those cats, and then all of a sudden he came up and let loose. I mean, he went straight Eddie Van Halen up there. And I remember looking over at Kraz, and Kraz looking at me. I was like, "Oh, dude, you're getting your ass whooped right now." And Kraz is like, "I know, man." Like what? Like this dude just let John let
Burning the
loose.
stage down. Yeah.
Oh, John let loose, man. I was just like, "Oh my God, what's happening?" And and then afterward, we're all just laughing and joking. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and he's
Great
just
guy.
like great guy, man. It's just like it's amazing when you meet people that good.
You
There's
improve your playing too, because
yes, yes, man, exactly. That's I learned. I remember being younger, and when you get your first chances at playing with older cats who are really, and you're all nervous, like
yeah,
and I mean obviously I fell on my face plenty of times doing that, but the thing is I got to a point where you have to really appreciate those experiences because they don't happen often. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying, man? So
yeah,
when Scofield is up there, or like when Stevie Wonder sat in with us, or when like all these different people, you know what I mean? It's like, man,
enjoy the rides.
enjoy the ride, man. And what you need to realize is that there's a reason why they wanted to play with you. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like I mean,
yeah, it's
obviously
like
I
a combination of things that you let them lose too.
yeah, man, exactly, man, exactly. So it's yeah, man, it's such an amazing experience. And that's why one thing I love about Soul Live, man, and I've gotten to meet so many and become friends with so many people I grew up listening to.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying, man? It's amazing, man. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, like again, we work really hard. You know what I mean? And I think the one thing about why people dig us so much, it's not necessary. It's not. It has nothing to do with our technical ability. You know what I mean? Like of course, we can play our
yeah, yeah,
instrument,
yeah.
but
It's the
we do
vibe. The
our thing.
yeah,
Exactly, man. We do our thing. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying, man? So and there's something that's that's that is paramount to me. That's you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? That is the highest level of compliment that you can get from
yeah.
someone. But that's what I think that's the best thing to strive for, you
And
know.
nobody can take it because you're
Exactly, man. Yep, there you go, man. Yep, yep.
because in Soul Live you didn't expect some like some substitution. It's there's
Oh,
no way. It's
nope.
like my band too. It didn't happen because didn't happen the sound. It's about the combination of the persons that playing. And what about your trio? Because I have experience to a trio by myself that is good because we choose some other things that you didn't play with other cats and with your regular job that you play in this format is like a different one. Where how can you choose the how would you choose the songs and you play some outdoor stuff too in your trio? How it's happened?
Well, honestly, so with my trio, it's kind of how it all began, really. Uh, so Soul Live was kind of on a little bit of a break, like from touring and things like that. And I was just, sitting at home, just like writing music, and writing things. And honestly, like some of the Alan Evans trio songs, honestly, I wrote for thinking in mind of Soul Live, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Ah,
oh,
okay.
this would be kind of cool. That's why the early stuff has that sound. You know what I mean? It definitely, but
Yeah.
but we were just kind of like Soul Live wasn't really doing anything, and I was like, well, man, I gotta do something with these tunes. So I just I just so happened to be recently been connected with Danny Mayer, the
Oh,
guitarist,
okay.
you know what I'm saying? And it just kind of fell into place, man. It was honestly, it was just kind of like something to do while Soul Live was kind of on a break, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it
Instead
just kind of,
to let the music in the wardrobe, you can pick that and record that.
yeah, man. And so the thing is too, like at that point, Soul Live had been together for quite a few years, but I also realized that I was discovering, I was feeling good about the writing songs that weren't Soul Live songs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so a lot of times I would start writing something, I'm like, oh, that won't work for Soul Live. So I wouldn't
Force it.
well, yeah, I just wouldn't do anything with it. I wouldn't pursue it. I was just like, oh, it's not Soul Live, so I'm
Yeah.
not going to pursue it. And then all of a sudden I realized, well, that's kind of stupid. There could be a really good song in there for something, So
Yeah.
then all of a sudden I just started, and that's when I just got on a writing tear, you know what I mean? Like I just, and so it's, I kind of know now. I've made a conscious effort, especially with like the latest Alan Evans, the trio albums, like they
Okay.
definitely have a sound,
Yeah.
onto their own, it's not Soul Live, you know what I mean? And so now and then I have like the Crushed Velvet and the Velveteers, and that's like straight like funk, you know what I mean? And then I have
And
all these
there's a
different,
strong concept too in that. You think about that
yeah,
to
exactly.
to to become
Yeah.
different to the soul life style
Yeah.
and everything to make
Well,
purpose to bring that out.
exactly. Now, the thing is, I don't think about that necessarily when I pick up my guitar.
Okay.
I don't say like, oh, I'm gonna write such and such a kind of tune. But now I know if it feels like a certain way, I know where to put it. You know what I'm saying? I know where to
Okay.
go. That's the beautiful thing. I have multiple, places where I can put different songs. You know what I mean? So
Great.
there's a certain freedom now, that
Yeah.
I can just say what I want to say, and I'll figure it out later, like where, where it's gonna go. So
Yeah.
uh,
Great.
yeah,
And
man.
I have seen your I think it's like some years ago that you record a telefunking video for the microphones.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, and it is the drum sounds great with that mics, and
Oh
I
yeah.
love that kind of microphonation, but put the mics like an overall. It's like a jazz environment,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
I like it because the sound of the drums become like a thunder.
Yeah.
What do you like about this kind of mics? How do you microphone your kit? You like that kind of jazz way to?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's definitely my choices of mics and positions have changed over the years, but for the most part, I like the drums to sound like drums. I guess
Yeah,
it's kind of, you know what I'm saying, like, and I guess that's the thing, man. I really I like the old school way
yeah,
of
of course.
I don't put a lot of microphones on the drums. You know what I'm saying? If I can, like on on Soul Live Cinematics on the
Oh
last
yeah.
album, that was one microphone on the drums. One.
What heads like
No,
one
man.
overall?
It was like right near the bass drum and the snare drum. It was like inside the
Great.
drum,
Okay,
you know.
like a
So
body
yeah, yeah, exactly. And then
hook,
so
the incredible
yeah,
hook.
exactly. So for me, man, it's like if you can do it with less, the less the better. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But obviously, like in my studio, I have like I have I have the toms mic'd up, and the overheads. I have some ribbons for overheads and things like that. But to me, it's like you don't always have to use all of those microphones.
oh yeah,
In You know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, if two microphones sound great, you know,
it's very good.
that's it. it's less for you to do. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You know,
because I
but
feel
yeah,
like the market, the business,
yeah.
maybe force some kind of compressing and everything in the drum sound, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, well, man, I mean, you have to remember it's it's the business of music. You know what I mean? It's a business.
It's
People are trying to
selling
make money.
stuff. Yeah,
Selling gear. There's a new plug-in. There's a new microphone. There's a new whatever drum. All this kind of stuff. Hey, that's fine. But I guess with my age, I've learned like I know what I like. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? And I really don't. I'm not on the gear hunt like I used to be. Hey man, if I'm making good recordings with what I have, then why do I need to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Of course, it
so
happens.
yeah, man. So it's for me, it's like it's about where you want to put your energy.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
I can go on eBay and all this kind of stuff and spend hours looking for stuff, or I could spend hours making music.
It's better.
So, so that's where I choose to put my energy, you know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah,
And also I've had a lot of people that I've learned from, you know what I mean, like who are very experienced recording engineers and such. And it's amazing like when you have that kind of support from people and you can learn from people who have made hit records, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying, and have the credibility. And I would just listen, and they suggest something, I would try it out, you know what I'm saying, and like, okay, that's
Change the vital information. The vital
yeah,
information.
yeah, man. So but yeah, like I said, man, those are the kind I like my drums to sound like. I like recordings where not necessarily I want you to know it's people playing the instruments. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really manipulate drum sounds with like I'm bringing like samples and this kind of
Okay,
stuff.
plugins, that kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
yeah. I mean, I not to say. I mean, that's for my music. Now, I'm also an
Okay,
engine. I'm a proper studio engineer, and I've mixed like pop records and things like that.
it's another
Now,
thing.
that's another thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but
Yeah,
for what I do, for my own music, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like to keep it pretty organic sounding. You know what I mean?
great.
I like to feel, I want you to feel the air in the room. You know what I mean? Like you're
Yeah,
kind of there, you know?
it's great. It's great because it's hot. Is the sound is it's like that old stuff that we like.
Yeah,
I saw
yeah, man.
you with the Kurt Mayfield box. This man, this sound is great.
Oh man, yeah, amazing. And I'm telling you, so his son, sent me the records,
Mm.
and he was telling me, he's like, "Yeah, I'll wait till you hear them because they remastered them
Wow,
and
man.
wow." And I put that vinyl on, man, and I was blown away. They sound so good. 180-gram vinyl, man. It's
Whoa,
just like,
great.
woo. But that's again, man, like you feel like you're in the music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like it's
it's like you are in the room.
yeah, man. Yeah, it's dynamic. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh yeah, man. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
great.
yeah.
And what about you've listed some actual drummers too, and you look forward like another groups, and you you are
Yeah,
still listening to some
yeah. I
new
mean,
cats because
yeah,
it's difficult. The same trouble that we talked before, yeah, because a lot of people are such an ego thing about that,
yeah.
but still has some people that's
Oh yeah, man. I mean, obviously, like I definitely have like, some favorite. I mean, the friends of mine. Obviously, Adam Deitch. Is always like, he's a special dude, man, because he has that technical ability. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? That dude can play some stuff where you're just like, all right, I can't
Wow.
do that. But at the same time, he can groove. You know what I'm saying? Like his
The
pocket, like
feel. Yeah.
yeah, man. So he could literally, Adam could play 20 minutes without playing a fill. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? He could lock in a groove, or he could go off and solo and all this kind of crazy stuff. And that's, you know, so, you know, he's always a favorite of mine. You know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah, Adam's a great guy. And the Letos too is a great
Yeah.
band.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, man. And then, you know, some other cats like Anderson, Anderson Paak, you know,
Yeah,
that
Edison
brother,
Peck is,
man,
yeah,
that
he's
brother
great.
is bad. Man, that dude is ridiculous, man. I mean, his drumming. I mean, man, he doesn't have to do anything else. He could just
Yeah,
play drum,
yeah,
and then he has to sing. Come
yeah, yeah.
on,
He sings
man.
very nice.
Oh, oh, ridiculous,
Yeah,
ridiculous, man, ridiculous. But
it's good.
he's a super talented dude, man. You know, like he's talented, man. He's talented, and I'm glad that he's getting all the props that, you know, he deserves. You know, so
Yeah,
it's good to see, man. You know, a lot of people, I don't know if they know, man, but Bruno Mars,
drumming. The drummer of Bruno
Bruno,
Mars.
Bruno Mars, the pop
Yeah,
singer dude, he
very.
can play some
Oh
drums,
yeah,
man, bro.
really bad. Yeah, great.
Woo, man. You know, it's a, oh, and I don't know. You know, Louis Cato.
Luis Cato, see, yeah, great.
Man, see, oh man, what isn't he great at? So Lewis, man, I met him when he was much younger. He was like kind of almost like fresh out of high school, and he was going to Berkeley,
Oh, okay,
and um I was kind of hearing about Lewis here and there, and then I was recording Nigel's some stuff off for Nigel's first album out at my
okay.
studio. So Kraz was there, and Nigel and Lewis was there. Now I'm trying to remember. So Lewis came out. He was playing. I think he came out there to play drums on some tracks. But I remember I ended up playing drums on a couple of tunes, and he was playing bass. But so anyway, at the time, like I didn't know. I was like, yeah, I just knew Lewis as a drummer. You know, I heard about him as a drummer. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh yeah, Lewis plays, you know, he can play bass too. And so we played on, oh, no, it was Kraz's album.
Ah, okay.
It was Kraz's album, Reminisce. That's
Ah,
what it
okay.
was.
Yeah.
So Kraz was like, oh man, I want to do this, the Beatles song that he did on that album, Get Back. So
Oh, yeah.
so Al, I want you to play drums, and yeah, Lewis will play bass. I'm like, all right, cool, man. Let's see what happens. And Lewis got on bass. I was like, oh my god, dude's like, he's like playing all this Chuck Rainey, like, you know. So I'm like, yo, what's happening, man? He was already killing on drums, and then it's like, oh yeah, he plays guitar. Oh, he plays trombone as well,
Wow.
and he sings. It's just like, come on, man. I was like, and he was probably like
Stop.
19 years old at the time. I'm like, I remember I was like, dude, how did you learn? It's not like, and so that was the thing. He was playing drums from Marcus Miller. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he's playing drums and Marcus Miller's, man. But then it's like, oh, well, he's going out to play. He's like, oh, Lewis is playing with so-and-so, you know, on this tour. And then it was kind of like, at that point, it was kind of the joke was, well, what instrument is he playing? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
because he plays
he could
everything.
play any gig, any like at the top level of any person on tour, and he could play any of the instruments. You know what I mean? It's like scary, man.
Yeah, man.
Scary. And
I've,
and
I've,
and music, he's so musical. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's like,
with a lot of craft of technique and
yeah.
everything.
Oh man. Yeah, yeah. So the other drummer, the other band that I've been digging on, I'm sure you know Krungbin.
Crumbing.
Yeah,
I
man.
didn't know. Crumbing.
Oh
Yeah, yes,
man.
from there, for the
Yeah,
United
yeah, yeah. They're
States.
from Texas. I think they're
Texas.
out of
Oh, I'm
Houston.
gonna check this
Oh,
out.
yeah, man. I'll send you
Oh,
some
great.
links to check them out, man. Their drummer is awesome. The whole band is awesome, man. It's three bass drums and guitar. And man, whoo, ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. Yeah. So yeah.
I've been with Peter McLean, you know, the drummer from Maceo Parker.
Oh yeah,
He's
man,
a
Pete.
great,
That's
great
yeah,
guy.
man. That
He's from
exactly. Pete.
Boston. He's a friend of
Yeah,
mine.
man.
Go to my studio. And
Yeah,
Mike
man. He's
Tucker
a
too. Mike, the sax
Mike. Yep.
player.
Yeah, man. Oh, Pete. He's a bad dude, man.
Yeah,
That
man.
dude. I love Pete because
He explained to me about the tips from Maceo. It's like a
yeah,
James Brown tip. Like
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
foot is on time and the hand is another time.
Exactly. I love Pete, man, because that dude, he'll show up to a gig, man, and he'll have uh bass drum, snare drum, and a hi-hat and a ride cymbal, and that's it. No, you know what I mean? And that dude will he'll make that thing sound like 50 drums, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a
Ooh.
huge sound.
Yeah. Oh,
Great.
I love Pete's playing, man. I love that dude, man. He's one of my favorites, man. Yeah.
Yeah, he is very, very nice guy too.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. He really is, man. Whenever we hang out, which unfortunately isn't that often, because that's the thing. Like when you're like, like a lot of time, or a few times, I've people have from Boston say, "Hey Al, can you do this gig?" With
Uh-huh.
like a Koshik record or whatever with them cats, because Pete can't do the gig, so I never see him. You know what I'm saying? And then if I'm in town playing or whatever, he's got a gig. I mean, you know how it is, man. So
Yeah, because
yeah,
he lives in there in Boston, isn't it?
yeah. Yep. Yeah, man. So
Okay.
so that's the thing, man. Especially with drummers, man. Like you rarely see each other because you're either gigging or you're
Yeah.
doing their gig.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much, man, to this
Yo.
conversation. I'm very
Okay.
proud to do that with you because I'm your biggest fan, man.
Oh
I
man, no, thank
enjoy
you.
your
Thank
playing a long time. It's incredible that we can chat and learn for you all these stories. And a
Oh,
pleasure for me.
oh man,
Thank
thank
you
you
very much.
so much, man. So all right, man. So when all this chills out, when I get down there, man, we're gonna hang out, man.
Yeah, man. I was talking with Mike. I want to go to the States next year and
Okay.
go to Boston because
Yeah.
Mike's a very good friend of mine, Pete, and Dave
Yeah.
Zeno. You know the cats, Dave.
Oh yeah, I know all those cats, man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And go there and let's hang. Because
Yeah.
now it's pandemic. I don't know if this year, I think it's
Nah, this
different.
year's a wrap, man. This year, uh, dude, I'm not trying to get on any airplane. I'm not going to restaurants. I'm not, man. I'm
No,
chilling.
your house is good. It's very good.
Yeah, we're healthy and happy, man. So
Yeah, great.
yeah, yeah.
And to end this conversation, what advice for the Brazilian drummers and musicians you want to send, or a message for? Because sometimes I've seen a lot of kids and teens that are some kind of lost in the way of a lot of informations.
That's true, man. There is a lot of information out there, but the one thing, no matter, I truly believe, no matter what era we're in, era of mass information and all this kind of stuff, you have to. I'm not going to say you have to. It's really good to follow your heart. You know what I'm saying, man? Like
Yeah,
find the music that
inside
really
you.
exactly that speaks to you. That's really guiding you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times it's easy to ignore that because you want to learn. These days it's funny, man. Everyone wants to be able to play any gig or like want to learn everything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
and but to me, I think if you follow your heart, you know what I'm saying? Follow the music that's inside of you, the music that's calling you. You're and remember, it's to use your voice. That's where your voice is. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
beyond all I mean, you can find a lot of people out there who are gonna teach you like the rudiments or your scales or like all your music theory. But before that, it's really good to know what you really love. So then you can find the people that
Your
are
own voice to do it.
exactly, man, exactly. And in
Great,
the end,
great.
man, you will earn the respect of other musicians and people who. That's the thing, man. This is music. It's communication.
Yeah,
And when you're speaking the truth, people will listen. You know what I'm saying? People will listen. People will want to hear what you have to say.
yeah,
So not you know, yeah, it's cool if you're playing other people's music, but if it's coming through your voice, you know
yeah,
what I'm saying? People will gravitate to you. You know what I'm saying? People will want to listen to you. People will respect you. People will trust you. You know,
yeah.
and
And
that's
as you said before, the kind of path you have to go to the past when people already started the way, and you improve your present and change the future because you're looking back and see how the things going. Great,
exactly.
yeah. I
And the one other thing, man, is and try to always, you know, as much as you can, surround yourself with musicians and artists who are uh, I hate to say better than you, but who are more experienced than you.
Yeah,
You know, you want I know it's a scary thing to be on stage or like in a room with someone who's like, wow, they're really good.
yeah. I feel that very, very often.
But
Like,
that's how you're going to get better.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah. I
saying?
agree. I agree, of course. Like
Yeah,
Gilberto
man.
Gil, the greatest here in Brazil. You know some Brazilian music, isn't it?
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. Yep. Yep.
Our godfather, the jazz afinado
Oh
band,
yeah.
our godfather, that the musician that said, "Hey, you, let get on your way because your playing is good and your craft is in a good way," was Baden Powell. You know the guitar player, Baden.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's like that. So since I was a kid, surrounded with yeah, as you said, people were experiencing you, and then the history to tell to you.
Yeah. Exactly, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. That's it, man.
Great,
So
man. Nice to
cool,
talk to
man.
you.
Yeah, you too, brother, man. Yo, man, hit me up anytime. I'm around. You know that.
Yeah, I've recorded the conversation, so I'm gonna edit and put some subtitles, and we continue to let's stay in touch. You are a great guy. You are a heavy drummer. I'm a
Oh,
biggest fan of you, man. I will
thank
send
you,
to you
brother.
some stuff that I record and I send to by email. Okay.
Yeah, man. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Right on, right on. All right.
Thank you very much, man.
No, thank you. All right, have a good one.
Bye. I
All right,
hope that pandemic stuff ends and all your love for your family.
man. Same here, brother. Same here. Same here.
Bye bye.
All right.
See
All right.
you.
All right. Yes.
Yeah.